Big Bear here coming at you from Boynton Beach. Still down here in Florida having a good time. We're on a joyride. We're having fun. We are joyously organizing our resolve into determined energy. Today, I said our, but today it's all about you. It's all about what you're doing on your joyride. Let's talk about some tips, some things to help you boost yourself, get you where you're going, make the ride fun. But all in all, it is all about you, and it's all about what's up in your mind. And what's up in your mind as you go through your day. A lot of us end up on autopilot. Is that you? Let me ask you a couple of questions. Who makes your decisions? Have you ever thought about that? Have you thought about what makes your decisions? Your decision is made up in your mind. We have 3 separate divisions of the mind. According to some of the scientists, we can kind of break down the way we act, the way we think, as coming from one of 3 control centers, and that's your reptile brain, your limbic system or monkey mind, and then your cortex is your prefrontal cortex and your neocortex. That might be the same thing. I'm not trying to be an expert on that. What I'm an expert on is habits. And I'll ask you the question, what habits make your decisions? What is your life habit force vector? If you look back 5 years ago and all the habits that you had, they probably got you here. And you can look at it and say, that's the way I was going. And you can look at yourself and say, well, in 5 years, I want to be here. Who have you got to be there in 5 years? And what does your vector have to be? If it's the same, if you're on the path, great, you're good. What do you need me for? Peace out, yo. Thanks for playing. If you want to go this way, you got to change yourself. A lot of people struggle with change because habits are hard. Habits are rooted in your reptile brain. You got to get down to that guy, and he's kind of dumb. Don't listen. He works on repetition. We'll talk about that. He works on habits. We'll talk about that. And that's what I was asking. So your life habit force vector, last 5 years, next 5 years, what I teach people how to do, I learned this, I forget where, it was an authentic self-realignment. And in the inner circle, we'll talk about doing an alignment audit and some of these other things. But that's where you try to see, are you on the correct vibration? That, you know, the universe will tell you. And you know, are you living your life assignment? That's the quickest way to realign yourself is ask that question. So let's talk about this. Habits, they have proven, I guess, my doctors teach me that habits are rooted in the reptilian brain. Let's talk about what else is rooted in the reptilian brain. Fear. Learning through cause and effect. Your wants, and primarily, in particular, food, and in particular of food, salt, sugar, and fat. You seek reproduction, and you seek survival. And again, in particular, fight or flight. So, I'm going to ask you a question again. We're going to rewind that back to the beginning. Guys, who makes your decisions? What makes your decisions? What part of the brain makes your decisions? Let's talk next about the monkey brain. What's rooted there? Emotions and social hierarchy. That's your monkey mind. It talks to you too. How do they word their marketing and so forth to get to you and to get you motivated? To think about that. And what habits do you have that are rooted in your monkey brain that were made based on emotions and social hierarchy? Or again, fight or flight. Did you make a decision just based on the amount of salt, sugar, or fat in it? Did you learn through cause and effect? That's when you burn yourself on the stove. And so you never, ever, ever, ever go back to the stove. And that's your reptile brain. Okay? But your cortex would teach you, well, no, just don't touch it when it's hot. You can still go back to the stove and actually use it in a positive manner. Big difference. Big, big difference. Okay? And then lastly, we're going to leave you with this, but what else does the cortex do? That's your language, your abstraction, but then that's your planning, and it's lastly, your perception. So, who's making your decisions? That's what we're talking about today. That's your you. That's your on your joyride. Joyously organize your resolve into determined energy. Hug yourself, love yourself, get yourself out there and love other people. I believe in you. Take care. Bye-bye.